Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch. I'm Shesh.Noe, the off-grid oracle. Welcome to our channel. And welcome to our new world disorder. Thank you for joining me. My name stands for She Who Whispers Loudly with a Sharpened Tongue. And we're going to go ahead and pull some cards here. I haven't dropped a video in a little bit. It's been a week or two. Been doing my things. I have recorded, so I might drop some of those, but we'll see. I'm trying to find the groove, if you any information you need to contact me is in my description box. You can shoot me an email for whatever reason, and hit me in the comments section. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into this thing. The energies have been changing. They've been switching a little bit here. The weather's been switching up a lot. We've got a big front coming in. It's going to be real heavy rain. And so with that comes a different set of spirits, different sets of energies, that we're going to be working with, and so we'll see what comes out here. I want to say thank you, Father God, for everything. Thank you, Father God, for our deliverance, thank you for our guidance. Thank you for leading us. Thank you for directing us. We are chosen ones, and we need you very, very much right now, Mother and Father God. We greatly love you. We love you, and we are really listening right now. Right, collective. And so we're in this here together, and we really need you right now, Father, Mother. We need your guidance. We need your direction. We thank you for our daily bread. We thank you for the experiences that you've given us to humble us, and we thank you for any messages that you have today that could help us further our path, as we ascend. So I got my bread raising over there right now. I'm gonna make me a loaf. And I got some projects. I got some rainy day projects that I've had on hold, and so I'll be working on them and processing a lot of energies, and that's what we do as the chosen ones, right? We're here to process energies and heal, and then in the process of doing so, we heal ourselves, and that's what we talk about a lot here at this table. That's, the messages that we really try to deliver is how we can further our purpose in that path as a chosen one, because God's given us a lot of direction and ways that have guided us to become very powerful tools to them, because we understand all aspects of life, both light and dark, male and female, so on and so forth. We're the mirrors, and so we've been mirroring for eons, since time we were created, since we were primordial, as chosen ones. We're primordial beings. We've seen the whole show, and the whole time that we've been watching the show, we've been playing that show back onto them, and so they're seeing the show on us. And learning from us, but each and every one learns their little aspect, whereas like we've learned it all because we've had to always mirror, so every time we've been mirroring, we've been gaining, too. Like we've learned, that's how we've learned how to move. And that's what Spirit, that's what God has been trying to do with us. That's why our lives have been so extremely intense, as chosen ones. And it's like we're coming into a phase right now where that intensity is not going to go away, but it's going to feel different, and that's the promise. So good work. That's something that I've been really in deep reflection about, because we are in a time of great change, is what we talk about on this channel. And so those of us who are very sensitive right now are gaining that awareness of how to navigate through this great change, and in that ability, in that capability, we'll become great leaders, and but with a whole new definition of what a great leader is, and how that looks, and how we stand, in front of God, which is who guides us as great leaders. The best leaders are God-given leaders, and are the leaders that listen wholly with their heart to Father and Mother God, and follow their direction, and that's what we are becoming. So with that comes a lot of responsibility. It's intimidating, and it's hard to maybe really see exactly clearly right now to what degree our ranking has risen, and that's because we're humble. We've been humbled, and that's what makes us a good leader, So we got to remember to always, you got to remember where we came from, always, and that's how we know how to work both the craft of light and dark, and come out not lukewarm, And so it's like that's our talent, that's our gift, that's why we're chosen. Not a lot of people can do that, They're either dark or they're light, or lukewarm, And of those choices, there's only one that you want to be. If you can only be one, you got to be one of the light, And so we got to lead those who don't understand how to move back and forth like us, They ain't yin and yang inside yet, They can't balance their cups the way we balanced ours and everything, And so we got to guide them to their light energy right now, because they get consumed by the shadow where we can move freely. And so we got to snap out of any kind of pity party energy or pity party mode that we've been in, where we can't stand confidently on our own in order to lead and guide and direct the way that Father wants to do to us, because that's what we're here for. That's why we're the tool, And so we can't resent ourselves, and we can't resent our past, or feel insecure or mild about that. We got to be what it is, It's like, so we got to embrace what we are and who we are, how we became it, and where we came from, because that's all the tools that God gave us, And so it didn't kill us, it didn't consume us, it didn't destroy us. It only made us stronger, And so now, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. But we're an elite crew, It's 144,000 of us, right? Right? That's an elite crew. And so it's high time right now that we start moving with, some syncopation. Like we gotta get together, If the CIA can train their special forces and all these other individuals who are up against us because they want to stop God, well, we need to get organized right now, and recognizing, our authority. Because the only reason that the CIA gets away with it is because they have authority, Bam. Sound shuffled, but I want to be pulling some coins. Might have to grab the bag here and see, So you're a chosen one. If you're watching this video and it's resonating with you and you're following me on what it is I'm talking about, you already know the other key indicators in your life that are proof of the fact that you have been chosen. And now it's a time that path that you've been chosen for becomes the path that you walk on with definity. It's like you choose that path right now and step outside of that church with that 5 of coins in the reverse right there, because that's not a holy church, it's not a holy place, it's fucking death. All right, and that system around us is being destroyed, it's coming down around us, it's going to be demolished, and not by us, that's not what it is, it's like we're not death, like this death, you're not death, but we're willing to transform, and so it's like in our transformation and our ability to transform and to move back towards what serves us purpose best, like, so we got to get into the because there's a kid here on this one, right? You're giving flowers to the dead one, death, and so we got to give our flowers to that transformation, because if we're not willing to accept that like a new beginning, like a baby, like a child, and see that right now, the whole world around us is radically austere, it's austerity over prosperity right now, and that's what thrives, that's what rules, and that's what's conquering everything, that's what's conquering all, but we won't let it conquer that childlike innocence that we have inside of ourselves that's allowed us to give flowers to Father God in no matter what situation, to Mother God in no matter what situation, It could be our Job moment, or it could be our King Solomon moment. We don't give a damn, We're always going to be there, and we're always going to show up for whatever it is that God delivers right now. And so God says, well, child, you can resurrect them because you'll never die. Okay? And you understand that. You know what that means, because you're a chosen one, see? Chosen one. And so that child who is, what's going on here, in reality? That child's offering flowers to death, but that's because death is that child's warrior, And so death is standing in front of that child right now, as theirs, you know, like that child has control and domination over that death, because they're the ever-living light, the ever-living life, the ever-living goodness, the ever-living seed of Christ, you know, of God Most High. Right? And it's the fools right there that don't know how to stand, you know, because it's like, or know how to bow, you know, because what the hell is this preacher man offering up there? Trying to smooth talk death, right? But you can't smooth talk God when they're coming in to conquer, you know? And that's why the king's dead right here on the ground, you know? But the child is the one that has that humility to recognize exactly what it is, right? As an earth angel. Bam. With temperance. Well, the OGO, man. I'm the OGO. Comes out swinging sometimes, you know. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. You know, I'm trying to really bring a lot of awareness, you know, to the fact that, man, this motherfucker right here is out here reaping havoc right now. You know, it's up in everybody's fucking brains. They got full access right now. You know, they really are. They do. They really do. And that's why that number is so small. 144,000. Yeah, there's only 144,000 of us that are going to know how and be willing to not plug in. You see, and them motherfuckers right there, they're plugged in, just like they plug you in the Matrix, you know. And just like I had to draw them bikinis on these ones, but they're naked, you know, just like they're in their mama's womb or wherever they would be, you know, because they're plugged in and under control, you know. They don't have the ability to sustain themselves, nor do they have the ability to think on their own, you know. And so now they're bound and they're separated from each other. And so they no longer even have the ability to recreate, you know, to repurpose Earth in the manner that it's supposed to be repurposed in, to resurrect, because that's what we're taught to do, you know. Father created us at the beginning of time as an energetic force, you know, that's supposed to vibrate through the universe forever and ever and ever and inhabitate these things, these bodies, these flesh suits right here. Otherwise, they're just rotting flesh. They're just they're a dead corpse, you know. And with the devil right there, they want to harness our energy, you know, and so they don't give a shit about what you are as a living being, you know. They just want to siphon out your spiritual essence and destroy you. Right? Make it so that we can't show reverence in our physical aspects in this manifestation here of the material towards our Father Most High by being the most beautiful living creation that they have, you know, because that's what we are in the creation of I am that I am, you know. And this is nothing here. This is jack shit, as jack shit is. And I am that I am knows that, and they wipe their ass to get rid of this shit every morning, right? And so why are we going to crawl in that toilet bowl with them? We're not. We're saying F you. Saying you're the bitch, you know? We the champions, earth angels, and you're the bitch, devil. Motherfucker. We got our motherfucking wings over here too, you know? And there ain't no scraggedy ass bullshit like that. And so it's high time, see, as chosen ones, we're being called to unplug right now. Like it's immediate. It's very now. It's like right now, you know. It's right now, you know. They're really just sucking us in. They're sucking us in fast, okay? And shit's changed radically. Listen to the OGO right now, because I'm in the living world, living creation that God has created around me. And I do my shit living in the living with reverence to it, you know, because I love Father God Most High and I fucking hate the devil. And I see what's happening right now, you know, and that's why I go back and forth with the YouTube here, because this is me coming into the Matrix, trying to call the Earth Angels together right now and out of it, you know. And so this is not an end all. This is just a way for us to start to realize how we could communicate with each other globally, because we're spread out around the world, you know. I'm completely alone right now. I stand alone, but I stand alone in the name of God, no different than this angel here, you know. But I need you guys to as well and start to really recognize this shit. And you are, you know. But that's what our tongues have been activated for. And so we're here in this environment right now to band together and pull out, because they're trying to really take us in right now and really destroy us. Use caution, you know. And so it's like we have to know how to move with death right now. We have to know how to move in that environment that has been created around us, that everybody believes in, that is extremely austere, okay? You know, it's the austerity thinking, that mentality that people have right now, that there ain't enough to go around, that is got us all bound, got us trapped. Okay, and they're trying to suck you into this gulag, into this internet world right here, where you don't have the free thinking ability to move on your own and to create with your own abundance. They're trying to trap you. You know, they're trying to trap you in a false reality, you know, and an artificial intelligence, right? They're trying to trap you in a state of artificial intelligence. And what is artificial intelligence, all right? It's artificial. It's nothing real about it, okay? And so we can't be duped into that. We can't believe that this thing that's mirroring us now, right? Because we're the mirrors. And so we know damn good and fucking well it ain't human. And we know damn good and well that there's nothing human in that environment. And so we need to step into a Knight of Pentacles energy, which is, whoa, kind of hold, right? See, the Knight of Pentacles, he's telling his horse, whoa, you know, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because the Knight of Pentacles, he's been thinking about shit. Knight of Pentacles, not thinking about shit. It's just that Knight of Pentacles is pragmatic. They're practical. You know, they're practical. I mean, I don't know if pragmatic's the right word, but the Knight of Pentacles doesn't have to. They don't have to. Because see, like the Knight of Swords, they think about shit, but they don't think about shit unless they're in their Knight of Pentacles energy as well. Because to graduate to a king, we have to know how to have mastery over all of our elements, you know. And so it's like as a page, and then we grow up, we become a knight. And then we grow up a little further, we become a king, right? But we got to do that same shit and the feminine version too, you know. So it's like we got to learn how to be a princess before we get to learn how to be a queen. Well, this Knight of Pentacles right here is in their upright position, meaning that they have the wisdom of the Knight of Pentacles because they've learned to move a little slower, and they've learned to move with less, you know, because they're not rash in their decisions, right? And so, like, if this Knight of Pentacles is going, whoa, you know, to stop and step into his Knight of Swords energy in the upright position, which that would mean he was thinking about it, right? And so we're really thinking about shit right now. We have the ability to say, no, hold on a second. I need to think about this. And that's the Knight of Pentacles. See, because the Knight of Pentacles ain't going to just jump right into that fucking shit until they've had some time to sit, think about it, you know? And so it's like, that's good. That's good energy for us to be in. And when we're in that Knight of Pentacles energy and we're thinking about it, we have to be also not too worried about, like, we got to have confidence, because Knight of Pentacles also kind of moves on their own a little bit, you know, like they're Earth energy, and Earth is kind of more, Earth moves when Earth moves, you know, and so we're in a very good position right now to be stubborn about what we know is reality, and to be stubborn about how we preserve it, you know, and so that's good energy right now to stand against this devil, you know. We got the Queen of Cups, and so like the Knight of Pentacles in this energy right now, in our movement right now, is a ground zero. You know, it's how I've really been feeling it. You know, it's for all of us right now. We've kind of, because it's a reset. You know, we're in the fourth turning here. This is a great reset, right? And that's exactly what it is. It's a reset, right? They know that. Astrologically speaking, it's a reset. Energetically speaking, it's a reset. You know, and so a reset, but it's like a big reset. Karmically speaking, where like we're really, it's a reset, you know, so it's like we're like boom, and so we're at that boom point, you know. And so now what are we going to do? Because it's like those of us who've really you know, honestly, like, have embraced karmic cycles, you know, because a lot of us with this devil energy, we've been like I said, we navigate both sides, you know. And so we know how to move in the dark, you know. We know how to move in the dark, and we know how to move in the light, and we know what the repercussions are, you know, and the consequence of both actions, right? And so it's like we've paid our karma, we faced the devil, and we said, no, we're going to unplug, you know. And even though that unplugging has been very uncomfortable for us, we're now really, it's like as everything clicks together, we're in that final stage where it's just like, you know, or even like if you're looking at, like, you're trying to sand something to get it smooth, well, we're down to the really fine paper, and they might even got a little water on there right now. And so it's not so much as a scraping, karmically speaking. We're not still getting whittled on. They're not coming in with an axe on us, on our asses right now. They're polishing us up. And so we can't be afraid of that, because it's a more intimate connection now that we have with spirit. That's going to really give us the strength and the power and the ability to unplug here from this devil energy right now that's controlling the world, because a lot of people are afraid. They're really scared to be confident like this Knight of Pentacles, and step aside of it all too, because see, the Knight of Pentacles is like, hey, I'm resourceful, and so it's like, we don't need to have palaces out here, we don't need to have castles out here, we need to just have our sovereignty, and we need to be able to defend that, protect that, just protect that, keep it safe, because like the Knight of Pentacles doesn't charge into battle, and so they don't get wounded easily either, because they're smart. So we gotta move smart right now. Okay, with that Knight of Pentacles, you gotta move smart. And we have a lot of support. We have a lot of love coming at us from Mother God, because that's the Knight of Cups. I mean the Queen of Cups, right? And so that's the energetic support that we're getting from our spirit team right now. And they're telling us to love ourselves, And really, they're telling us like, even if other things in our life are right now still moving a little slowly, the reason that they are moving at all is because we have that ability to love ourselves, and so we're standing in an energy right now of pure love and self-worth emotionally, and so it's like you're doing an excellent job right now of finding your grounding when you're tempted by things out here in this world that have caused you to be in that devil energy where you felt bound, And like being felt bound could be a lot of things, It's just like that could be, a lot of us have been going through separations, for sure, with everybody that we love. It hasn't just been, it's everybody, it's across the board. Like God's had us alone. And so in that energy of separation too, we could be bound because we don't feel loved, and that's that devil energy as well. And in that energy where we're kind of separated, especially when we're separated from like everybody, it's easy to get sucked into that false reality that's being created around us. They're offering us an alternative to just sitting there with God, which is what God's asking us to do when we're in isolation, so that we don't succumb to our lower chakras or our lower emotions or our neediness, And so it's like we've done a really good job, because the Knight of Pentacles is not needy. They can love themselves, right? With that Queen of Cups, they can love themselves. And so they can avoid that feeling of in separation, that they're not worthy. So it's like we've been able to really separate ourselves from everything right now that the devil has to offer us in this world today, because it's satanic. The world around us is really fucking difficult right now to even connect with anything. And when you do start connecting, you're like, damn, dude, that's just like another fucking port into that fucking devil fucking goddamn beast industry around here, this beast fucking system that's trying to consume my soul, And so it's like, it's really hard to connect with others, no matter what, like even the ones that we've loved dearly, if we notice, like, because like a lot of us blame ourselves, and we blamed ourselves, or we felt inadequate, we couldn't love ourselves with that Queen of Cups energy because of that separation. We were like blamed ourselves, we're like, well, fuck, man. But in that separation, we've become very potent as ourselves, because we haven't God has separated us and put us in an environment, like whoever it is I'm speaking to, you know damn good and well what I'm talking about here, where you have avoided, you don't find any fulfillment now within that AI, like gulag, the internet gulag or whatever, where they're trying to consume our brains so they could suck our bodies in too, And so you found a lot of strength in standing on your own, and you recognize the toxicity that's in this environment right here. And instead of feeling further drawn into it, as we have been tempted in the past, we could stand alone now and say, nah, man, like, I'm cool as fuck. It's like, no, man, I'm fucking, there ain't nothing in there that's as good as I am, Basically, God loves the fuck out of me, because we're going to stick to the basics right now. See? And so, like, those of us who are chosen, we've gone all the way back to the basics, because we're really getting to a point where we're figuring out how to completely unplug, Like, we're going to go away from, like, a lot. Like, we're going to really lead people back to the land here. And so in order to do that, we have to know how to really love ourselves and show them in a loving way alone, because there's a lot of people who are really afraid to take those steps that we've already taken, because it is pretty scary thought to try to go completely away from like money, to go completely away from gasoline, but to go completely away from money. because that's how they got you trapped. Ultimately, that's the way they got you. This system's rigged, you know, and it's rigged with their paper money, with their dollar bills, with their shit that has nothing other than their bullshit government backing it, and our faith in their government. That's the only thing that backs it, you know. And now they're trying to squash that system, jack the price of gold so high that nobody can even get their hands on gold, and then they're going to enslave you with a digital currency, and you know, they're going to give you universal income, right? And it's just going to be enough for you barely to get by, never really be able to step outside of that the cage that they built around you and free yourself. You're going to be able to go back to the forest because they're going to have you encaged. You know, you're going to be trapped like a hamster, like a experiment. You know, like a monkey in a cage where they're doing experiments on you and shit. Mm-hmm. We already are. You know, really for sure. You know, but us chosen ones are really. There's only 144,000 of us, so I'm gonna say we're all free. You know, it's like I don't know how many of you are. You know, I'm hoping that I'm talking to a couple of you. I want y'all, let's all activate. Let's be powerful. But we're free. You know, it's the those of you who can't really see that bind. You know, they can't see that. You can't see that. You know, that it's like a tail, right? It's just like a monkey in a cage. You know. But you gotta reach around and grab a hold of that fucking tail. That's what tail, and yank on that and unplug yourself. It's not a tail. It's not a tail, man. You know, trust me. We weren't born that way. We weren't born to be bound. Father God did not create us to be bound. They created us to know how to love freely, how to be an open conduit to the ethers, to the emotional connections that we share with each other. Telepathically, you know, and this energy right here, these individuals are being fed their thoughts. See, it goes right around their neck. Fed their thoughts. And worst thing is, they're not even being fed for free. They're being taxed heavily, you know, for those thoughts that they're having crammed into their head, you know. See, not thinking for themselves. They don't have passion. They lack passion. They don't see themselves in the world that's around them because this is coming in the reverse right here. They're trying to take away all of our opportunities, all of our hopes, our dreams, our wishes, all of our. They're trying to enslave us through an artificial version of what it is that we already know we are, you know? And so we're not going to turn our backs on the things that we love. We're not going to turn our backs on the creation, on the thing that gives us the most passion, which is our spirit, and to succumb to that and become hopeless, you know? We want to set sail. We want to be free. We want to be always exploring the great creation that is of Father God, and know that it's expanding rapidly, and there's always enough for everybody. You know, that's what we want to know. That's what we do know, and that's what we want to set others free into. Because right now they're trying to encage us, the masses, you know, so that we can't see our opportunity on the horizon, right? Right? They want us to be slaves. They want you to be a slave. They want to take away your freedom right now, you know, because they want you to believe that the world is a small place, you know. They want you to believe that those 3 ships right there, that they found the only new land out here. You know, you hear me? They want you to believe everything that they tell you, but they don't want you to look any further or explore any further and try to discover the new things that they're keeping disclosed from you. They want your world to be small, you know, and the smaller that your world is, the less likely you are gonna make that move. They're gonna keep us trapped, right? See, if we're not careful right now, they're gonna keep us trapped in that reduced energy, but we're not gonna allow that. No, I'm not gonna allow that. Because that's the tower right there. See, it's not even a matter of what we're gonna allow, what we're not gonna allow. This is on God. God's calling this one. See, that's that tower. Boom. In the reverse. Right? That's in the reverse. And so that means that all that praying that we've done, all that begging that we've done, all of that understanding, like consistent willingness to listen to God and to understand God and to communicate to God and put out that frequency and to feel the heavy energies that we've had to feel, because it's like we've had to really process a lot of, take it on as our own in order to heal this shit, you know? And so it's like all of that we've done, all of that heavy work that we've done right now is coming to fruition. All right. And so it's like those times that we felt like everything was crumbling, was crumbling and 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 crumbling. That was just spirit and God. That was God through spirit, right? And the energies that are around us and how they use other individuals, because that's just what it is. You know, it's like we can't be mad at the people in our lives who haven't made sense because they've been spiritually possessed, you know, and some of them by multiple spirits. And that's the truth. That's fairness, you know. And like we've understood that, we've seen that, and we've allowed, we've moved with it like Job, you know. And so it's like now we've moved with it, you know. It's like we didn't really say like, why me, Lord? We said, well, I understand now what you're teaching me, because like karmically, like we had to really clean house in order to be in a position where we weren't tempted by the same towers that we've had fall on us in the past because of our behavior, right? So boom, you know, so it's like we really learned how to move, because it's like we got in that position where we were about to be consumed here by this devil, and we said, whoa, we're gonna think about this. Boom, you know, like, yeah, man, we're gonna think about this, you know. And so we thought about it, and we recognized, we learned that how the tower works, you know. And so we've managed to be in a position because of the towers that have fallen on us in the past, you know. We've been healing from that shit. We've been licking our wounds and everything. But them towers that fell down around us was how spirit has kept, how God has kept us in the game, you know, where we couldn't be. Bam. King of Pentacles, you guys. So there you go, you know. I mean, that's just what it is, man. That's the King of Pentacles, okay? And so it's like, yeah, that means then definitely that this Knight of Pentacles right here has been thinking, okay? But they're not stepping into like a, you know, this Knight of Pentacles said, whoa, you know, whoa, and instead of saying whoa and then like jumping into a lower energy, you know, this Knight of Pentacles, they stopped and they jumped into that Knight of Swords energy, right? And so they've thought they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it in a higher sense, right? In a higher sense of how this motherfucking devil works, why the separation is occurring, you know, like how the devil has their hand on this too, and that they need to like avoid that situation because they'll be trapped there alone no matter what, you know, because like these two are bound together, but they're separated by that devil. They're alone. They're not being brought together like in the Lover's card. They're being separated, you know. And so this is an eternal battle that we have to fight as chosen ones and complete ourselves and stand alone until that devil to F themselves. Say, fuck you, motherfucker, man. And fuck you, you know. And when one chosen one stands and says that, fuck you, you know, the other chosen heals, and we're able to unite in our divine unions, you know. And so this is something that we all are working on, you know. And I don't make shit very fucking wishy-washy, you know. We're not out here telling no love stories on Spiritual Ranch because we keep shit real, you know. But there is a lot of this happening right now where there's a lot of growth, you know. And so this Knight of Pentacles is making the right choices to become this King of Pentacles right here. Okay, so we're becoming King of Pentacles. So that means not only has this Knight of Pentacles thought about it, stepped into there and mastered their ability to intellectually, you know, to handle shit, like, right? And so they're thinking about it, right? But then also they've mastered their Knight of Wands in the upright position. And so they're thinking about the right things, you know, and they're slowing their roll down, you know, and they're like, oof, you know, like, yeah, they know how to be hot about shit, but they know how to be responsible about shit too, and how to use their head, how to think straight and make the right choices. And they're also mastering that Knight of Cups energy, where they're learning how to love themselves enough to fully step into that King of Pentacles energy, where they can then love another, you know, fully. They can love their Queen of Pentacles, you know, and so they can master that house. And once we master the House of Pentacles, you know, we step into our Emperor and our Empress energy. And so this is very, very good progress that we've made. You know, we're whooping ass. We're learning how to be very stable, because we have to know how to be very stable. But to be stable, we got to know how to think. We got to know what is hot. We got to know what is not. And we got to know how to feel about it. Okay? And so that's what this Knight here has done in this time out. You know, it's like they've had a lot of time to really sit and think about the things that really fucking matter most to them, you know, that they stand to lose, right? And so we've all really recognized right now how this world around us is changing, and we got a lot to lose that we don't want to lose, you know? And so in this Knight of Pentacles energies, you guys, word, you know, good work. I mean, Spirit's saying good work. God's saying good work, you know, King of Pentacles, man. You know, you fucking fuck this guy right here. But motherfucker. We don't like that motherfucker, you know, we don't. And so it's like with the King of Pentacles energy, it's good to see that Four of Pentacles energy right there on the bottom of the deck. That's good because nobody wants a miserly king, you know. And so it's like now that the that king has their they're the King of Pentacles, you know, in the upright. And so they shouldn't be miserly. They ain't going to be miserly. They're going to be fair. They're going to be honest, you know. And when a King of Pentacles steps out of their Four of Coins energy, that's also because, like I said, a King of Pentacles has mastery over their emotions, you know. And so a King of Pentacles already is a King of Cups, you know. A King of Pentacles already is a King of Wands, and a King of Pentacles is already a King of Swords, right? And so when they meet then become the Queen of Pentacles as well, because like we have to do this inside of ourselves. We have to know how to operate in both our masculine and our feminine energies, depending on the situations of how we're handling coin or stability. You know, so it's like you gotta be a good mother and a good father on your own always, you know, because that makes you a whole ass complete motherfucker, like God Most High. You know, God. When we say God Most High, it's like God Most High, right? That's the most high spiritual energy that there is out there, and that's a divine union too, you know. And so it's like maybe they're in separation right now as well, and that's where we have our issues right now with the whole world, you know, with the universe. It's all like disorderly because maybe there's a broken house up above too, and so we're trying to heal that energy, right, on our own. And so this king right here, when he steps out of that Four of Coins energy right there, that's an emotional action as well. You know, that's opening up, you know, that's letting go. That's seeing the bigger picture, you know. It's like not being miserly, not being dysfunctional about how they approach others in life, you know. And so it's like they can then give freely because like a King of Pentacles can be guilty of being miserly with emotion, you know. They could be kind of shrewd with their thinking, you know. They could be a little bit of a dud, you know. They could really put the fire out sometimes, you know. Like they could be that way if they're in the reverse position, you know, because they don't have the masteries of their other elements, you know. And so it's like right now we do, and that's good, you know. And so be open freely, you know, and equally distribute it, you know. Like be aware of the fact that like because we're now in that King of Pentacles energy, that we don't have to be feeling like we lack, you know, at all. We don't have to feel like we lack at all. In fact, we could feel very abundant right now in all aspects of our chart, in all aspects of our journey. It's like we have a lot of reasons to feel really hot, you know, about the things that are in our life, and we have a lot of reasons to be feeling really hot about who and what we are, you know, and really enjoying that, you know, and from a place that's grounded, that's mature, you know, and that makes sense, that is intelligent, you know, that's emotionally grounded, and that has like a lot of attractive passion behind it, you know, but not lust and everything. It's like, so it's like we're in a good position to be leaders right now, you know. And so good work. You know, next thing that the King of Pentacles does is builds empire. It's time for us to build empire. That's the energy that we're really stepping in here, because our empire, the empire that we build, is going to be that safe place for those to come out and recover who got to unplug. You know, there's a lot of people right now that are like that, you know, it really is. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of health issues, you know. There's a lot of mental health issues. There's a lot of physical health issues. There's a lot of issues right now because of the campaign that's been up against us. You know, this is war, spiritual warfare, you know, full on. And so, King of Pentacles, man, that's a good leader. That's the leader that's the leaders that we need. We need to be in that energy because we have to be very organic. We got to be very smart right now. We got to be very thrifty, you know, not miserly, but wise and thrifty and abundant And for those around us who maybe aren't standing in that same energy, you know, with that abundance, right? And so we got the three cups on the bottom of the deck, which that's that reconciliation of us, you know. That's us right now. Those of us who have that understanding of what it is I'm talking about here, and you've done that growth, you know. And so it's like we start at the bottom, right? And now, well, I mean, I guess we started from a little bit above the bottom. You know, we started from the bottom. We'll say we started from the bottom. Now we're almost to the top, right? Because that almost to the top would be when we get that Emperor card coming out on the deck, you know. But that's something for us to celebrate. And then we've been working towards this, you know, and it's been a lot of like ping pong kind of, I think, with a lot of things that kind of we've been working towards. And now it's time for us to see that, yeah, okay, it's worth it, you know. It's like we're going to get something out of this, because that's a harvest time card, right? You know, and so it's like, of course, that's probably looking forward to, I would say at this point next season, you know, we have a lot of reasons to celebrate the year that's coming in here, you know, because we are, you know, I think 2026 is promising to be a year that is going to really show up, you know. And so like, what does that mean? You know, what means that? And that's going to look different depending on, you know, like where you stand here right now. And that's why like there's been a big, you know, it's like there's a gap right now. There's a major gap, you know. That gap right there is just growing wider and wider and wider and wider. And that's why we encounter a lot of individuals right now who are getting buried. You know, it's like you can tell that they're getting buried underneath that tower and they're really stumbling, but they can't have that humility. They don't have those. They're still stuck in them reverse night energies, because that's what they try to keep us stuck in nowadays. You know, and it's like they're robbing us of our joy by doing that. You know, but not us. You know, it's not us. You know, like I say us. I keep trying to correct myself about that, because I don't mean us, the chosen ones. I love everybody, you know. I'm equal opportunistic. I want the best for everybody. Like I've always had to carry their burden and their shame and their sorrow, you know, my whole life, because I'm super empath, and that's just what it is. It's been very difficult because I've always loved them, you know. Like I love Christ, you know, because I always understood what Christ was saying. I always did, you know, and it always made me sad that people have been the way we are even today, you know, like with Christ, you know, because we show him a lot of disrespect, because he taught us to have more self-respect and more self-love. He taught us how to have a relationship with the Most High, you know. I mean, he freed us from the slavers, because they had us enslaved, you know, in our brains, and they're getting us enslaved in our brains right now. And they're even using Christ, you know, to do that. They're using his word against us and shit, you know. That's the way this fucking devil is, man. Fucking motherfucker, you know. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible place that we're in right now. But like the thing is, it's chosen ones. It's like, you know, like we know how to celebrate in the dark times, you know. That's the thing. And so that's why we're being granted that passage forward. And like with that death card came out on the bottom of the deck, you know. That death card came out saying that, you know. And so it's like we're gonna thrive, you know. It's like that's how it was during the Great Depression. Like people you know, I mean, it didn't take, like, if you're resourceful in the times that are coming ahead, you know, a resourceful person can really succeed, you know, in times that are hard times, right? Those hard times make good men, you know, make great men or women, you know. And so it's like we're coming into hard times, and we're already honed out, you know. It's like we're already skilled and tooled to be successful in a time when the ones who are used to being successful are going to slide, right? And so we can kind of survive on that detritus, you know. And so that's where we look like, you know, I mean, it's what it is, man. We're those kids who are like, yeah, Dad's rolling in here. Well, we're gonna roll with Dad's, you know. Here's some flowers, motherfucker. Thanks. You know, that's where we're like, yeah, it's gonna be rough, but we know how to survive without an artificial abundance, without artificial intelligence. You know, we know how to survive because we know how to, like I said, we know how to start at ground zero. And so it's like that night right there, that night of Pentacles, they had to say, whoa, and they didn't step into their knight of fucking swords energy. They had to step into their page of swords energy, you know. And so that's like, hey, we really have to go like, damn, you mean everything's a lie? And that's like, yep, everything is a lie. And it's really getting ready to be exposed, you know. It's like everything's a lie. And it's like, sorry, child, get ready to move, you know. The sand's gonna be shifting under your feet. Shit's gonna be making sense, I guess, for the first time. That's what this Knight of Pentacles is right now, starting to go, okay. They're seeing themselves, you know. And so it's like the Knight of Pentacles really had to see themselves before they could fully step into that King Pentacles energy right over there, you know, and become who and what they're supposed to become, which is a chosen one, man. It's going to be an empress and an emperor. There's going to be a high priestess and high priest, chosen one, you know. And so that's us, guys. Good work. Good work. That's like that first moment, you know. It's like, I hate Hollywood, but damn, man, you know, that's predictive programming, so I guess we all know what it is, right? But that's that awakening moment, you know. It's like we just took our first breath. Like, don't choke. Don't choke. Yeah, that is too. That's like, whoa. Yeah, you've been right this whole fucking time. And so, good work, you guys. We're going to leave it there. Yeah, you've been right this whole fucking time. And so, get ready, man. Get ready, you know. So, get ready. We just stepped into the light of day, you know. And we spent a lot of time in the shadow because we had to transmute that stuff, right? And so, we've been working in them places that nobody wants to go ever. Nobody wants to go. But those are aspects that also make us very human being, you know. And that's how they've dumbed down the masses, is that they've guilt tripped everybody, you know, with this concept of sin and judgment, right? But everything is illuminated already in the eyes of God, you know. And so when we've taken an action, God's already known since the beginning of time that we were going to take that action. You know, it's not like that. It's just that an action is like a mechanical move, you know. And so it's like when we start to understand that the moves we make come with their own recourse and their own action. It's not like the hand of God comes down and just delivers hell onto us, you know. But we, through our actions, by not seeing clearly what it is that we're supposed to be doing, what our path is, and really having faith in that, you know, and saying, nah, man, we'll let God guide this horse. We're going to let God steer this horse. Because every time that I steer this horse, I end up going in the wrong direction or whatever, and then shit gets fucked up, you know. But that ain't because God fucked that shit up. That's because you decided, you know, that's that free will shit, you know. It's like, and when we start to get into this King of Pentacles energy where we are right now, we're going to be given the abundance and the ability to really be in a position that is going to set us aside in this light right here, see? And so we're going to shine right now because we got to be leading, but we got to be leading with the innocence of a child, you know? We got to trust Father as our Father, we got to trust Mother as our Mother, and we got to understand and know, no matter what, with this Sun card, that they're the ones who are in charge, okay? That's the only way that our light can shine, you know? It's like we don't got to have any kind of artificial anything, superficial nothing. We just got to have them in our light, in our lives, and then that light through us is going to illuminate the paths for many, you know. And we have to do that from a place where we're not a threat, you know, at all to them. And we got to understand that they're not a threat to us either, because like all of this stuff that we are being exposed to right now, the gore and everything, is trying to get us to hide out, you know, or to not feel that it's even worth it to get out there and really let our light shine, you know, because especially if we're going to be on a chosen path right now. And it's like, honestly, this world kind of tries to shadow us out anyways, and God's saying, nah, don't worry about that. You shine anyways. That's what God says. It's like, well, hey, the whole world, don't worry about that. Like, fuck them. The whole world needs you, child. They do. But you don't need them. And so it's like, don't worry about what it is that they might be able to, you know, how they could make you feel, or how they could like anything for you. Like God says right now, God says like if they're going to be around you, they need to brace themselves for that light that you are, and everybody's gonna have to move differently with you right now, you know, and like they're asking us to trust that, and to know that, like, father and mother are right. They know what's the most beautiful. They know what's the most approved of. They know the work that we've done. And nobody else does. They don't. And it's like we need to stand in this position of this sun card, fully illuminated, to ourselves. It's like it's really a time for us right now to say, hey, like, we don't need nobody. We need God. We need us. We need our heart. We need our heart to have that shining light inside of it, so that we could be that morning star, and that bringer of light, because that's ultimately what we want most, and when we could stand in that energy on our own like that, confidently with God, and not get lost, in this world where we feel codependent on things that don't serve us, then we'll always be in a place that is of peace, and security and confidence and love, and we'll be that by action, and we'll receive that too by action, because that's what we will be confident inside of ourselves. And so Father's giving you that torch right now, man. They really are. It's graduation time. It's go time. It's total completion time. New beginnings, right, guys? Good work. I love you. It's a good read, yeah. All right. Bam. Okay. Don't worry about it. Let God lead, guide, and direct you, They're taking you to a secret place right now, where only you're going to understand what that is. But everybody's going to see that on you when that package gets delivered, and it's en route. It's en route, Don't worry about it. And it's going to get safe passage. That passage is granted. Okay, passage is granted. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. Good job. Sometimes it hurts to have to go back to school, But when you're going back to school to figure out exactly why it is that you have to unplug yourself from this demonic force right here that's trying to consume all of us, you set yourself free, baby. You set yourself free, baby. And that's what we're all trying to do right now. That's what we got to do right now. We're the chosen ones, And there's only 144,000 of us, And so we really got to be strong. We got to be strong, and fucking be available for ourselves, be available through ourselves for God, right? And that requires a lot of focus, because we got work to do. Anyways. Yep, we got work to do. We got a lot that we're working on, that we're building empire. Okay, so we're building empire right now, and that's beautiful. That's excellent, right? Why not? Damn. It's double keep restroom clean with Earth Angel coin, the Indian head buffalo coin right here. Okay, and that's that buffalo coin. And so that's Earth energy. That's Knight of Pentacles. Okay, that's like that Knight of Pentacles energy, like I was talking about here with the Knight of Pentacles, because that's buffalo, it's Knight of Pentacles, that's buffalo. And so this the energy that where we've been stubborn, we've been cleaning house, right? And there's two both these restroom tokens are coming out. Help keep our restroom clean. Help keep our restroom clean. We got the my battery's gonna die here real quick. But we got the Page of Wands right there, which is good. New team being selected: USA, hockey coin, country girl, country kitchen, country boy, country kitchen. All right, y'all figure it out. I'm gonna go. Peace out, you guys. I love you. Good read. Thank you. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.